More than 130 people in this country are dying every day, not from COVID-19, not from cancer, not from heart disease. WECT's Bill Murray reports that's the number of people who die from suicide, and it's time people should know about it.
Every time I look down at this, it brings me back to that night and where I was in that moment.
The simple tattoos on Abby Ord's wrist are an abstract calendar.
This tattoo here is a 20.
At 20, the year she contemplated suicide, the semicolon symbolizing moving forward, and the fight, well, that's self-explanatory.
Yeah, 3 years ago on September 13th was the day that I decided my life wasn't worth living.
If you check out YouTube, you'll find video Abby produced called I'm Here Too. Several people sharing stories about their reality, the stigma, and the hope.
I wanted to be gone.
I just didn't want to deal with it anymore.
I was just not wanting to be there anymore, not wanting to live.
I just didn't want to feel it anymore. I didn't want to deal with it anymore.
I wanted to end it.
And it would just all go away, all these feelings, and
I just wanted to be done with it all.
Because surely that had to be easier to be gone.
And that was the night that I ended up in the emergency room because I decided that my life was no longer worth living.
There are definitely some warning signs and risk factors.
Stephanie Robach's a therapist specializing in depression and anxiety. For someone on the outside looking in, there are signs that should not be ignored.
If they're isolating themselves, if they're experiencing what we would call anhedonia, that's the loss of interest in something that used to bring them joy. Something that might be less obvious would be changes in mood.
They knew I was struggling, but they didn't know to what extent I was struggling. And I think a lot of that's because I didn't open up to them how I should have.
A life lesson here, Abby says, worth sharing.
I don't think anyone should have to go through this alone. There are so many people out there. I mean, the statistic is every year 800,000 people take their own lives in the United States. So we're not alone. There are other people, and we just need to come together on that.
Sharing her story. It happened to her. It doesn't define her. And for people struggling, it doesn't have to define them. In Wilmington, Bill Murray, WECT News.
There is free confidential help 24/7, 365 through the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's available just a phone call away. That number is on your screen, 1-800-273-TALK. And there's also a Lifeline chat online. Go to suicidepreventionlifeline.org/chat. The service is also available in Spanish.